In the shadowy annals of Fall River's history, there existed a specter named Lizzie Borden, a name that still sends shivers through the marrow of the town's bones. Born in the grim embrace of the 19th century, Lizzie would dance with the devil's instrument. An axe was her weapon of choice, which she would use to slice a tale that would etch her name in blood on the parchment of horror. Welcome to the second entry in this special DarkScribe series, where we dive into the horror stories of history. The year was 1892, and the air was thick with the scent of hostility in Fall River, Massachusetts. Lizzie stood at the heart of a nightmare, accused of the brutal axe murders that claimed the lives of her father and stepmother. A court of law may have acquitted her, but the shadows of guilt clung to her like a curse that would confine her to a lifetime of isolation. The night wind whispered through the decaying remnants of the once luxurious Borden estate, and the tale unraveled with a sinister elegance. No other soul held account for the heinous crimes, leaving the town steeped in a toxic brew of dread and suspicion. Beneath the veneer of wealth that adorned the Borden family, darkness festered. Andrew Borden, a man of riches stained with the filth of financial woes, ruled over a mansion devoid of indoor plumbing, where luxury and squalor coexisted in unholy matrimony. Lizzie and her sister Emma wore a mask of holiness in the eyes of the townsfolk, but behind closed doors, familial discord sang. The arrival of Abby, the stepmother, ignited a fire fueled by suspicions of a union forged in the crucible of wealth. The sisters' lives, interwoven with property disputes, were marred by heated arguments. In the days leading up to the night of unspeakable dread, Andrew Borden's gifts of real estate served as menacing offerings, widening the chasm within the family. As the moon cast twisted shadows upon the desolate Borden estate, an unsettling air of hostility crept through the corridors. Whispers of poison slithered like snakes in the dark. Foul rumors that echoed disdain for the patriarch, Andrew Borden. The cloud of sickness hung over the mansion like a phantom, setting the ominous stage for the impending horrors that would unfold. On that fateful morning, an unspoken tension gripped the Borden home, the walls bearing witness to the impending violence. In the early morning hours, Abby met her gruesome demise, the chilling echo of the fatal blow to her head reverberating through the house like a ghostly requiem. When Sullivan returned from his errands, the door, like the gates of hell, refused to yield, yet a scene of unspeakable horror awaited him within. He cautiously approached the foreboding door, its creaking hinges protesting the impending revelation. The heavy air was pregnant with a sinister stillness, and as Sullivan pushed the door ajar, the oppressive darkness within surged forth. From the upper reaches of the house, an unsettling laughter echoed, a haunting melody that sent shivers down Sullivan's spine. It was like some perverse tremor, a prelude to the horrors concealed behind closed doors. Abby's lifeless form lay sprawled in a grotesque tableau, her vacant eyes staring into the abyss. Yet, Lizzie stood nearby, an actress in this appalling performance, her demeanor a carefully crafted mask of innocence. As the clock inexorably ticked forward, a bone-chilling cry shattered the silence. Andrew, once the master of the house, now lay sprawled on a couch, the victim of a vicious onslaught with a hatchet. His lifeblood stained the fabric beneath him, the air seeming to carry the echoes of the violence that had transpired. Each reverberation a spectral testimony to the unholy act. And so, the Borden abode, once a symbol of familial unity, became a mausoleum of horrors. Heavy with the weight of tragedy, the townsfolk whispered tales of the night's atrocities. Amidst the haunting aftermath of the blood-soaked carnage, Lizzie Borden emerged as a figure draped in an unsettling cloak of suspicion. Her initial discourse with the police was a tapestry of madness, a web of lies that twisted and turned like the shadows cast by the flickering flames. She spoke of distressing sounds, a racket that foreshadowed the horror within, but later would recant her testimony, claiming an eerie silence had enveloped the house. The officers, deceived by Lizzie's calm facade, failed to pierce through the veneer of composure that masked her guilt. Their lackluster search, tainted by a superficial examination of her quarters, served a testament to the sinister dance that unfolded in the Borden abode. The air reeked of negligence, a stench that clung to the investigation like a vengeful spirit. As the moon hung like a veiled witness in the night sky, the sinister tale spun through the courts of the time. Lizzie, faced with the grip of an unyielding district attorney, endured a relentless inquest. Stripped of her family attorney, she stood in the shadow of justice. Her soul, tainted by her prescribed morphine, unleashed a torrent of erratic behavior and cryptic responses that echoed through the cold air. As the trial loomed, newspapers chronicled Lizzie's stoic veneer, sowing seeds of uncertainty among her dwindling supporters. In the twisted theater of justice, the trial fixated on the basement's hatchet head, a relic stained with the residue of death. Prosecutors argued the killer discarded it, leaving a trail of blood-stained whispers. Conflicting testimonies clawed at the fabric of truth, and in a horrifying twist, the decapitated heads of both victims, grotesque trophies of a soulless killer, became the harbingers of doom on that harrowing night of June 5, 1893. The courtroom quivered as Lizzie, a vessel for the spirits of evil, fainted under the weight of the unspeakable. In the annals of American legal history, the trial etched its place like a malignant stain across public consciousness. Presiding Justice Justin Dewey orchestrated the final act of the sinister theater. With a solemn tone and a carefully crafted defense-supporting summary, Dewey guided the jury through the twisted maze of evidence, offering a narrative that veiled the darker nuances of the case. His words, akin to hypnotic whispers, swayed the scales of justice in Lizzie Borden's favor. Little did the world comprehend that the happiness she claimed was a mask, concealing the twisted satisfaction of a woman who had eluded justice. The puppeteer's unseen hand had guided the strings of fate, ensuring that Lizzie Borden, the unholy victor, left the courthouse a free woman. Exiting the courthouse, she would claim to be the happiest woman in the world, her wicked triumph forever etched into the annals of dark history. The Borden sisters' condemned specters moved to Maplecroft in the Hill neighborhood, shunned by society post-acquittal. Accusations of shoplifting in 1897 kept Lizzie in the public eye, a pariah in Fall River. Emma, a silent accomplice or victim of shadows, moved out in 1905, never to see Lizzie again. Death cast its shadow upon Lizzie after a gallbladder removal, succumbing to pneumonia on June 1, 1927. She was 66 years old. Few attended her funeral, fear lingering in death. Emma, swallowed by shadows of chronic nephritis, followed 9 days later, buried side by side in Oak Grove Cemetery. Lizzie's tainted estate, valued over $250,000 at the time, oozed wealth like poisoned rivers, leaving a blood-soaked legacy never to be forgotten.